Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Emmett Jarvis, and I thought I would share a little bit about myself with you, the world, mainly because I've been asked a lot of times if I would, share my journey of how I joined the Army. And if you didn't know, spoiler alert, there it goes. I was in the Army. But I've had a lot of people ask me over the years, like, hey, why did you join the Army? So the beginning, and well, why did you leave the military, or how did that work, and what did you do in between? What was your job? Why did you pick that job? Like, why did you even choose to go into the military at all? Like, did you always want to be a soldier? What type of schools did you go to while you were in? Like, did you get to do any cool stuff? Did you have any opportunities? Just a lot of like, hey, why and what? And I've never really talked a whole lot about my military service just because I saw that as a chapter. When I was in, my goal was to be the best soldier that I could be, and because that would just help the team. And anything that I did when I was in, as far as like schools and deployments or whatever, was just kind of like part of the job. So um, never really saw a point to talk much about that after that chapter closed. But here we go. So I have what is called an I Love Me book. My recruiter actually gave me this binder um, before I joined the Army, or after I enlisted, and gave me some really good advice. He's like, "Hey, you may not care about it in the moment, but later on, you will definitely be happy that you chose to hold on to every certificate or diploma or piece of paperwork that you ever got from the military. Like, you call it your I Love Me book because it's all about you." He's like, and it'll benefit you as you go throughout your career and then post-military career. That's what I did. This is what he gave me, and so we'll start. We'll start from the beginning. The first document in this I Love Me book of mine, I haven't looked at this stuff in years, um, is my enlistment contract, which I'll kind of like finger redact. All right, so that is my first enlistment contract for a total of 6 years. And yeah, so why did I join the Army to begin with? So my why starts off with high school. So my wife and I, we had been together throughout all of our high school years. I enjoyed high school so much, my freshman year so much, that I went back and did it twice, which is how I met my wife. We ended up being freshmen together, and then sophomore, juniors, and then we kind of bounced to another school and then back to our home school, which allowed me to kind of move up in credits so that I was actually a senior. But I was a senior, she was a junior, and the thing is that I was working at Kroger's in the produce department, and they were kind of looking at me like, "Hey, when you graduate high school here in a few months, then we could probably make you a manager because you do a really good job." I was like, "Oh, that's what you always want to hear, as a high schooler. Say, hey, you can be a manager here at Kroger's." And no offense to managers at Kroger's, it's just like I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I just don't think internally I thought, man, being a manager at Kroger's is what I want to do post graduation from high school. Like, other people are going to college, they're doing this, that, and the other, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. Well, this is like around, I think like March or April, and we've been living together now for about a year with her dad and her stepmom in an apartment here in Delaware, Ohio. And one day, my wife was like, well, we weren't married yet. My girlfriend at the time, fiance, was like, yo, I think I'm pregnant. And I'm like, no. And she's like, yes. And I was like, that's awesome, kind of. But we're nervous at the same time. Like, this can't be happening. And it's like, well, what do you think's going to happen when you do stuff that makes babies? So she takes a pregnancy test, and I don't even say anything to anybody. I'm just kind of like in my head thinking, I'm like, if she's pregnant and we end up having a baby and we're still living at home with her dad and stepmom, and I'm working in the produce department at Kroger's. It didn't sit well with me at all. I felt like she deserved more. We deserved more. Like my child would deserve more than us to struggle financially with me working at a maybe above minimum wage job, living at home with our parents. And so what I did is I went downtown to the recruiting center and went straight to the Marine Corps recruiters and was like, hey, look, here's my situation. I'm getting ready to graduate high school. My fiance's pregnant. Like, what do I need to do to join the Marine Corps? So backing up a little bit, if you were to ask and poll my family at this time and be like, hey, do you think that Emmett would like join the military ever? I think you wouldn't find a single person up until this moment that would have been like, oh yeah, absolutely. Which is funny because I actually come from a legacy military family. I mean, everybody in my family, like you track male lineage all the way back, has pretty much fought in every war dating back to the Revolutionary War. I don't think anybody would have guessed it. Now, the Marine Corps was like, hey, we can't help you out. Like, you need a waiver. We don't really, have the time to invest in getting you this waiver. But the Army recruiter they knew they were like, hey, we think he could help you out a lot. So I got handed off to the Army recruiter, and I remember my first encounter with this guy. He was a larger than life dude. I mean, he looked like almost like John Coffey from the Green Mile. He was a huge dude. And I remember him just kind of looking down at me, and he just asked me a simple question. He's like, what do you want? And I was like looking around. I'm like, man, I don't, the hardest job that you have, and it was a question more than it was a statement. And he was like, okay, so airborne infantry. And I was like, yes, whatever that is. So as he kind of explained later on through the process, like what exactly airborne infantry is, it really appealed to me because of the eliteness of being called an infantryman. The whole military as a whole is designed to provide the warfighter on the ground every asset that they need to be successful during their ground campaign. And that's not an understatement. What I thought was like really cool too is like my recruiter made it a point to really imprint upon to me that the warfighter would be worthless if it weren't for all the other people in the Army doing their jobs at a high level to make sure that like the warfighter on the ground could solely focus intensely on that job of being on the ground and fighting that battle. So I already kind of had an appreciation going into the military of, hey, just because you're not infantry and just because you're not doing my job doesn't mean you don't have a vital role in, determining the success or failure of like military operations. And this guy was like a highly decorated infantryman. He was no slouch, and so it kind of meant a lot. Like up front, I was being mentored by a guy, and he's like, hey, check your ego out the door. Like no matter how good you are, remember there's an army of people behind you, literally helping you become successful. So that helped me out in my career, like staying humble and being grateful for all the other people around me. But the brotherhood and the eliteness of being called an infantryman really resonated with me on a deep level. I grew up playing team sports, so teamwork was like a big deal. I understood that like if you were the weakest part of that team, it could cause friction, but ultimately being on a team makes even the weakest person on the team want to be better. And that's the cool thing. I really liked the idea of being on a team that was an elite team. So after everything was said and done, I got the waiver that I needed to get knocked out, got everything done, and I enlisted for 6 years. I actually got an option 40 contract, which was Airborne Ranger, but I managed to like mess that up for myself. But there you go. I signed up for 6 years. This was June of 2001. And spoiler alert, September 11th is coming up here real soon. And that happened while I was in OSA, one station unit training. I joined the Army to essentially like give my unborn child and my soon-to-be wife and myself a better life, one that we could look back on and be proud of. And I feel like that was the direction I needed to take to do that. Also, spoiler alert, turned out after I got handed off from the Marine Corps to the Army recruiter, my wife, well, girlfriend at the time, took a pregnancy test and turned out she wasn't pregnant at all, which was cool because I was like, oh man, that's like a lot of pressure off of us. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't have to worry about like trying to navigate through, her senior year as like a mom. And I don't have the pressure now, like the financial obligation, like the whole pressure as like a dad that I was like, man, I don't even know where to start. It gave us more time. But, her message to me was, hey, you don't have to join the military now. And my message back to her was, it's too late. I'm already committed. Like, this has to happen. Whether it's right now or like later, we're going to want to have kids and we don't want to live at home with mom and dad. No offense. But it just wasn't like the ideal situation for us. So it was rough there for a little bit for us, but we figured it out and it all worked out in the long run. So all glory be to God on that. But there it is. That's the story. I probably repeated myself 5 times now, but yeah, there's my why and there's the how. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'll try and get to them as soon as I can. But until next time, we'll try and do this every Monday. So we'll drop this video sometime today. And yeah, we'll see you back here next Monday. And we will talk about one station unit training at Fort Benning, Georgia, the home of the infantry. Hey, it was awesome hanging out with y'all. We'll see you next time. And live from the corner. It's Emmett Jarvis. I wonder if this is made in China. But there it is. I joined the Army. I gotta get these ums out of the way. But close. I think I just got a paper cut, a cardboard cut. Like the adhesive on this Velcro patch is still on here, and it still works. That's so cool.